Good morning. Welcome to Mindset Mondays. So, I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about for this first one. And the first thing is going to be an intro so that you can decide if it's something you want to look at and maybe on your way to work or if you're going downstairs to work out, whatever it is. I'm just going to suppose a little bit of normalcy here. I realize that we're still under the COVID crisis, but so today I want to talk about self-image. How do you see yourself? Like when you look at how you fit in, like when you enter a room, do you feel small? Is your self-image that of a timid person or is it a strong person? Are you secure? Looking at that and not looking at your self-esteem necessarily, but your self-image. And so your self-image, if you can start to tweak that. Now, sometimes we're so gone down this negative self-image and negative self-esteem thing that we can't see that. We can't see that higher version of ourselves. We maybe don't see anything. We don't realize that we don't really have this. We have this thought of how we appear to other people, but we don't know how we project ourselves. So with your mindset, you might have to have a drill sergeant, and maybe that's a thing that you already have. Maybe you're one of my friends that served in the Army or the Marines, and you just have this drill sergeant telling you got to get up and you got to go do it. If you've got like a David Goggins, he's an author, You Can't Hurt Me, or Jocko Willink, one of those types of people, that's great. That is awesome. And that might be, if you just don't have this self-image, maybe you hire somebody in your mind. You picture, okay, what would Jason think if I was, eating this or having this negative thought about myself? And then slowly chip away at your limiting beliefs, your disempowering beliefs, and shifting those to empowering beliefs about yourself. Like, oh God, you always do this. You're so fucking stupid. No. Oops. Well, I guess that's one way I can't do this. Let's try this over again. Oops, I did it again. Darn it. Well, let's see. That was silly. All right, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Let's see, the third time's a charm. All right, I got it. Don't talk down to yourself. Don't talk negatively to yourself. Or don't let that drill sergeant come in or whoever, Mr. T. Hey, I pity the fool that does that more than one time. Wrong. And whatever it is, just do something to make that shift, to hold you accountable. If you're not good at accountability, who is? Is it, but eventually the goal is with mindset is to move from something else to maybe a version of yourself, an alter ego. Beyonce had Sasha Fierce. Beyonce was raised, I believe, Jehovah's Witness. So all that booty shaking and heartbreaking and dancing around on stage did not go with her self-image. She was raised differently than that. So she had to hire Sasha Fierce. That was her character. That was her alter ego. And there is a book out right now called The Alter Ego Effect. So that might be, that it's still not you though. So you've got the drill sergeant, and then maybe you create this alter ego. And then maybe if the area that you're at is you're timid at work, you suddenly start seeing yourself as being strong and standing up to others. Or it's your weight. You carry yourself now where you walk into the room and you're like, you know what? I'm at the gym. I'm working out. I'm here all the time. I see that guy. I'm putting in the time just like everybody else. I deserve to be here. And my self-image is of somebody 20 pounds lighter than I am today. And then as you get to that goal, you change that self-image. You change that self-image. It's that version, that higher version that you attain, that you want. It's your finances. Do you see yourself as, are you the guy that's like, oh, rich people, I hate rich people? I was that guy for a while. And there's a time in 2000, maybe 97, 98, somewhere in there, a guy pulled up in a brand new BMW. And I love those older, the BMWs from that time. I thought were sculpture. They were beautiful. I was like, fucking rich guy. God, he's just, probably just got it and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wait a minute. Why am I mad at him for being successful? Maybe he grew up dirt poor and, poorer than I was on the Crow Indian Reservation. I don't know. So, hardened technically, but close enough. But anyway, why am I begrudging him? I don't know what his story is, and I'm assuming something about somebody because they have something that I want. My jealousy is not going to buy me a car. So that needs to be eliminated too. It's like, just because you're poor doesn't mean somebody took money from you. So you've got to work on that mindset, that negative image. Then there's self-esteem. Self-esteem is, am I deserving of this? It's a little bit different than self-image. Like, your self-image is, like, for me, I'm not a big guy. I mean, I'm like 5'8.5", 190 pounds. I'm not a big guy, but mentally, my self-image is I'm bigger than I am. And I have to keep that in check, because if I get mad and suddenly I'm getting mad at somebody that's a foot taller than me, I'm screwed. So self-image and self-esteem are different things. My self-esteem is, this guy is trying to put one up on me. I'll show him. My self-image is I'm big when really I'm not, so don't get too crazy with your self-image, I guess. So on Wednesday, we'll talk about self-image with your wellness. It's not just about your mindset. It's, how do I carry myself? Like, if somebody asks me a question, do I just start rambling right away, or do I pause? And then do I sound, because something for me, while I'm, brave enough to come on and do something like this, oftentimes I have to look at, okay, how do I react to other people? How do I let other people? And so a self-esteem thing is I've never been listened to. My self-image is I'm somebody who has something to say. So where do we meet in between? I'm somebody who has something to say, but somebody who feels like he's never been heard. I need to meet in the middle, and my angst maybe isn't the best thing to come out in that conversation. I need to say something different, like, well, the way I see it is a little bit different, or so that's kind of self-esteem versus self-image. So I'm trying to take my self-esteem and dovetail that into my self-image and make that cohesive, so I don't have that cognitive dissonance. My reality isn't thrown off, and it's something I have to work on. But it doesn't mean that I don't feel that I have something to offer from lots of experience. So self-image, a couple other things I've had problems with. I was in 7th grade, I was held back. I didn't wear a label for that. But then I got put into special ed, and I didn't let that bother me. It was this, I think, probably more the system, and that I was hard to manage. I'm a very opinionated person, even when I was young, and I didn't really subscribe to what the school was trying to tell me. And well, I was wrong. So, but having that self-image, self-esteem, and making it cohesive. And then the last thing about that, and I kind of touched on it with that school thing, is something to ponder is maybe the one thing that they kept saying was wrong with you was the one thing that was right about you. The fact that I couldn't sit still in class, the fact that I wasn't engaged with what they had, but I could draw, or I could read technical manuals like crazy, or I could focus on these different things. Maybe the very things that you've been judged for your whole life are the things that you should be doing. And that is you being your own hero. But that's only for you to decide. Have a good one, friend.